Good afternoon, welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. My name's Carrie and this is going to be a general reading for the month of September for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, there's a link in the description box to Astrolabe. If you follow that and put in the details that they ask from you, they'll give you your full natal chart for free. And then you can come back and watch your videos for your Moon and Ascendant signs and get a better idea of what's going on with you overall. If you're a subscriber and you're returning, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, I'd really love it if you consider becoming one. It raises the visibility of the channel and it gets me out to more people, which is kind of why I'm on YouTube in the first place. Thank you for all your messages and comments. They really are turning out to be the highlight of my month. I really, really love reading them. That said, YouTube is removing the messaging functionality. So if you want to get hold of me, the best way to do it is through Instagram or Facebook. I'm on both of those as Scorched Earth Tarot. And a lot of you are choosing to get in touch with me that way anyway, which is sound, you know, whatever you like. So I'm just trying to get the first few cards for the month. The first three cards for the reading are out, but they're being somewhat reticent at the moment. I have another two cards for Capricorn for September. Oh, that's the same card that I flipped a minute ago, so it obviously wants to come out. I'll let it out. One more card, and we'll get some clarifiers. We'll get on with the reading. The readings are time-stamped, so if you don't want to watch me shuffle, and I completely understand if you don't, then go down to the comment box. The first comment will be me time-stamping it. Okay, in quite a reflective mood this month, Cappy, I think. Right. These ones. I'm just going to grab a couple of clarifiers, then we'll get started. I'll show you what you've got as well. Six of Swords. Bear with me, almost there. What a peculiar set of cards. I'm going to go through them, I'll show you what we've got. So the Shadow card, which is the theme for the reading, underlying the entire reading. On the main deck is the Two of Swords, and on the clarifying deck is Death, so some changes ahead for you. Put that there. Get my selenite out of my pocket as well. There we go. Let's pop those there and those here. Right, the main cards that you've got for the reading are Six of Swords, moving away from something. The Ten of Swords, which is definitely a card of endings and new beginnings, let's not forget. And the Six of Cups. I think I can see where this is going already, but I'll not prejudge it too hard. So, the Six of Swords, like many of the Swords cards, actually is quite painful. I'll get it a bit closer so you can see it. There's a woman and a child huddled in a boat, and they're headed off. And the idea is that they're leaving behind things that no longer serve them, right? That's the catchphrase for this card, if you like. But it's words, communications, it's things that have hurt, that you're moving away from. And sixes are cards of harmony and balance. So usually this is a recognition that whatever situation that you're currently in is not in some way serving you, because it is making you feel unbalanced, because it is not harmonious. And so you're moving away from it in order to restore that balance for yourself. And I want to mention this here now because I feel like this is going to be relevant later on. But like I said, there's a woman and a child in the boat here. So I feel like whatever situation you're going on with at the moment, it's not just affecting you, it is potentially affecting children, and those may be your children, or they may be children that you know. And it probably won't be for all of you, but certainly for at least one person, that is a thing. I'm also drawn to the fact that there's an eagle at the front of the boat on the prow. And that makes me think of Scorpio, because the depiction of the higher aspect of Scorpio is the eagle. And we've already got the card of Scorpio on the bottom of the deck here. That may or may not be relevant, but because I keep looking at it, I feel like I need to bring it up. So it's possibly a Scorpio that you're dealing with, or you may have Scorpio strongly in your chart. You will know better than I. But it's painful because it heralds a moving away from something established, where if there wasn't at least comfort, there was an element of comfort in the familiarity of the situation. And these two here in the boat are sailing off into the unknown. They don't know what's coming next. And there's pain. There's just pain here in this card. And the two cards that we've got to clarify it are the Lovers and the Three of Pentacles. And these have come out underneath the Six of Swords, so I feel like these are the things that have come together to create this Six of Swords situation for you. The Lovers is Major Arcana, and that's the card of Gemini. It doesn't always mean the obvious, romantic love. Sometimes it can mean a choice. And I would draw your attention back to the fact that the shadow card on the main deck was the Two of Swords, which is also talking about a choice. And the Three of Pentacles is earth energy. Well, actually, I should mention, that's the card of Gemini, so there might be a Gemini involved as well, but by the by. Pentacles are earth energy, and there's three of them. It's a very stable number, but it's about working together with other people to create something solid. It's a foundational card. In the card they're depicted as building, well, there's a monk and a dude there, and then a master mason, and the mason is carving this intricate, beautiful, work on a stone building. And this card is also Mars and Capricorn. That's what the astrological associations are of this card. So it's your card. So why are you walking away from it, Capricorn? Because if Capricorns love nothing else, they love security, they love home, they love the feeling of having built something themselves that belongs to them, their little corner that they can hide away in, a sanctuary almost. Actually, I'm thinking of Durham Cathedral for literally no reason while I'm saying that, but it's what's coming to mind. It might be relevant to you in some way. So there are two ways of reading these three cards together in combination, and that is that the choice here, as indicated by the Lovers, was between moving away from something and continuing to build it. That's one interpretation. The second interpretation is that this isn't a choice, and this is a relationship. And you're moving away from a romantic relationship that you thought was solid, that you thought was made of stone, that you thought both of you were working together to create. You're leaving it behind because for whatever reason, it's now not working, and it's damaging you both more to stay where you are than it is to move away, right? And the second card that you've got is the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, right? This is air energy again. And painful again. It's a 10, so it's the culmination of the suit, right? It doesn't get any worse than where this person is right now, right? They're literally face down on a rock with swords in their back and water crashing over them. Like, this is rock bottom right here with your face on the rock bottom. You can't get any lower. Ergo, the only way that you can go is up, right? It's the end of a cycle. You're moving away from something and it has now ended. And it's something that you did think was once very solid, but it's not. Turns out it's not nearly as solid as you thought it was. There's so much pain here. In the standard depiction of the Ten of Swords, the head of the person lying down here is always turned away, is always turned towards the coming dawn in recognition of the fact that things can only now improve now that you've hit the very bottom. But I'm getting a different kind of vibe off this card today. And it feels like the reason, it doesn't even look like the person's looking away. It looks like they are literally face down, forehead down on the rock. And I feel it's because you're not sharing with anyone else what is going on with you at the moment. All of this is internal. There's nobody that you've, or at least very few people that you've actually let out what is going on with you. You know, whatever this situation is that you're moving away from here, like, it's not public knowledge yet, but you're feeling every single one of these swords in your back right now. It could be that you've been betrayed in some way. There could have been some cheating by someone, and certainly we've got we've got cards that indicate that that could possibly have been a thing. Being as you're the person that's moving away, I feel like this has happened to you. But it doesn't have to have been. The energy can flip round here. I mean, this is the effect that you could have had on someone else. I don't know. But there's betrayal here. There's treachery. There's a proper wounding, and it's clarified by these two cards here. And we've got the Knight of Wands, and we've got the Four of Wands. These are both fire energy cards. For me, the Knight of Wands often, I think it's Sagittarius, right? Other people may have different ideas, but for me it's Sagittarius. And the Four of Wands is Aries. So these are potentially possible characters in your story, but not necessarily. But the one thing that the Knight of Wands is known for more than anything else is being a bit of a fuckboy, right? And I'm using gendered terms here only to keep myself from getting confused with all the characters that are going on here. So this doesn't have to be a man, this can be a woman just as equally. The defining feature of the Knight of Wands is his lack of commitment. And that's where he gets that term. That's where he earns that mantle, because he's all about living in the moment, and he's all about having fun. He's all about what makes him feel good right there and then, and that's what he will get stuck into. But once all that's done and finished with, he's gone. again. Okay. The card to follow it up is the Four of Wands, and this is a card of stability here. Like the Four of Wands is the happy home. It's a blissful union. It's quite often a wedding. It can literally depict a wedding. But when you've got these three cards together, that suggests that one of the partnership has been straying, potentially. They've fundamentally undermined the security of the happy home, the security of that thing that it was that you were building together. And it's left you, I assume, you feeling very betrayed. I don't think you've decided whether to go or not yet, Capricorn. I think that you're still musing on it. And that's got to be really difficult when you're doing it with all these swords in your back. I say this because the Two of Swords, like I said, is a choice. That's what's underlying the entire reading. And Scorpio, which was the shadow card on the other deck, is a card of transformation. It's about endings and beginnings. It's about completely removing from your life those things that no longer serve you. And that's all that talk that I've been doing about, you know, turning your face towards the dawn, because once you get low, there is nowhere else to go. Like, there is the rising dawn. There's a sliver of something that you're clinging to. Something in this that you've been building with someone else that's stopping you from going. But like the death card is here. You know, it's time for it to end. You are here. It's time for it to end. This is the end of a cycle. And it's really important that you don't fight it. Right? So you're still deciding whether you should move away from this situation, whether you should let it go, or stay and continue to try and make it work. And this is your choice for you. You know, there is love here. I can see that. I mean, equally, this doesn't have to be a straight romantic reading. I mean, there are always ways to turn this into something like a work reading or stuff like that. It's the underlying themes are the important things. So there's been betrayal. There's been somebody fucking with the stability of the connection, the stability of what you've built. And you don't know if you can retrieve this, but part of you wants to, really wants to. And the next card we've got is the Six of Cups. Now, just like all the cards, I mean, this is tarot after all, there are lots of ways of reading this. And for me, this is often a past life relationship card. You know, you see this when you get twin flames kind of bumping into each other or you know, whatnot. But it's got children on it. And this is why I brought your attention to the child in the boat. It's another 6 as well. This is what's stopping you from moving away. Right, this is a picture postcard scene. It's got 2 children on it, and there's a little cat. They're having a nice, this is a snapshot of an idyllic childhood. There's a little boy and a little girl. That might be relevant to you, it might not. And there's fruit everywhere, there's abundance, and you know, even the lighting of the card is kind of nostalgic, like that magic nostalgia. And it's this that's stopping you. Like, look at the colour difference in these cards, right? The Six of Swords is harsh, and it's dark, and it's grey, and there's very little colour in there. And then there's this card, which is beautiful and warm and you know, idyllic. And the two cards that you've got to clarify it are the Ten of Cups and the Empress. The Ten of Cups is complete emotional fulfillment, but more important than that, it's the happy family. Look, 2 kids, 2 parents, dancing around under a rainbow of cups. Idyllic. And then you've got the Empress, and the Empress is the mother. Right? Not just in the way that the queens are the mother, because she's the queen of all queens. Like, she is the ultimate mother, right? She'll be one of those who has their children to, you know, 15 different clubs every week, and, you know, literally fills every second of their life with fun, joyous things, making memories all the time. Making memories all the time. And literally, this is the focus. This has been the focus of your entire life for quite a long time, you know, however long your kids have been around. It's really, really important to you. And that's why you're so stuck right here, right now. Because you're deeply unhappy. And whether this is someone who's betrayed you or you've betrayed someone else, I mean, either way goes. If one of you feels like you can't continue to work on the connection, then at least one of you is looking at this going, but we're going to wreck this. You know, we're going to go from this to this. You know, they're entirely different energies, and they're entirely different, very different ways to spend your childhood, right? In a boat moving away from things that have hurt you, or there. I can see your indecision. I can see why you'd not want to let it go. This reading feels super specific. I'm going to pull some more cards because I feel like that's a really good overview of the situation as it is now, but it's not really telling me anything about what you can do. And I'd like to know what it is that you can do, because you feel really stuck. But there's a lot of pain here. There's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of wounding. I got some advice for Capricorn. Some advice for Capricorn. Whoa. Shit just got real pretty fast. Right, of the three cards that I've just pulled for you, 2 of them are major arcana, right? That means they're really important. It means that this is life lesson stuff, right? This is not your day-to-day minutiae of shit. This is important, right? And they're often energies that you can't control. That's the other important thing to understand about this. The 3 cards that you've got are Strength, the King of Swords, and Death again. Strength isn't about being able to wrestle bears or boars or lions or anything like that. It's about strength of character. You know, it's about really difficult situations that you encounter throughout your life, which somehow, even though you don't feel like it would be possible at the time, you manage to come through, and you are improved and stronger as a result. If you've learned the lessons. I mean, some people go through these things and they don't learn the lessons, and they hit the same fucking karmic wall over and over again, right? But if you have, if you take those on board, then this is what you end up with. You end up with this strong character, and it's not sharp, it's not hard, it's not you know, it's not a blunt instrument. It's actually quite soft, right? But it's not weak. You need to be strong for this next chapter in your life because it's coming. And then we've got the King of Swords. Now this could be a person in your environment, right? It could be somebody who presents with the masculine attributes of the sword suit, and that's air. So it's somebody who would be a really good communicator, right? Somebody who gives really, really good advice that is not emotionally based. It's logical, it's thoughtful. It could be your fucking lawyer, to be honest. Like that's the kind of person that we're talking about. But whoever it is, they give really good sound advice and they are not swayed by emotion, and you need to listen to this person. If this person isn't in your environment, then this is the energy that you need to employ to move forward, right? You've already got these two cards from the Swords suit, okay? They're here. You need to elevate your thinking now, right? This is right at the top of the Swords suit. We've got moving away, we've got deceit, we've got betrayal, we've got backstabbing, we've got hitting rock bottom. Now it's time to elevate up and start thinking logically about your next moves, like what you're going to do. Because ultimately what is happening is this is ending, right? But this isn't something to be afraid of, and that strength also, you know, gives you that message. It's not something to be afraid of. Whatever this is, it's done. It's time to move on. And if you fight this, if you try and recreate this with the swords in your back, then the universe is going to step in and it's going to do it for you in one way or another. But the beautiful thing about death is when it's taken all of that stuff out of your life that just doesn't need to be there anymore, because it's time for you to move on. New things fill the void. You know, it's like them, you know, like burning the heather off on the moors in Yorkshire. You know, they do it every year. They clear the dead wood and it allows the new things to grow, right? If they didn't do that, the whole thing would just die off eventually. The outcome is the King of Cups. You are going to find happiness, and you're going to find that this experience is going to mature you on an emotional level. Like, you needn't think that you are not going to be able to enter this kind of, you know, situation again. Like, this one person is not the be all and end all, and yes, it's going to be a different kind of life for your children, but it's not, there's not one way to skin a cat, and there's not one way to raise a child. You know, all of your instincts are correct, and you can recreate that somewhere else. You don't need to stay in a situation that's hurt you so badly to have that happen. And not only are you going to get stronger from it, but there's love to come. You know, there's established, healthy future love, whether this is you or whether this is someone else. And this could be a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio coming into your life, however it works. There are brighter things ahead. Don't stay in a situation that leaves you with swords in your back. You deserve more than that. Right. If the message resonated, I understand this is difficult. Let me know if you want to. If not, just like the video, then just so I know I've hit the mark with somebody. But best of luck, because this looks like it's going to be quite character building to navigate. And I'll see you in October.